Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, and welcome back to Smalltalk. And, well, I guess you can call this the penultimate episode of Smalltalk because not only is this Smalltalk episode 85, but we are covering the last two episodes before the double episode finale, which, bit of a programming note, if you're watching this now on a Tuesday, that means later on tonight we will be reacting to the finale of the whole shebang, the series finale. We'll be reacting to that here on this channel, so do check it out for that. And joining us from the land of the meats, it's Jacob Collins. Jacob, how are you?
Yeah, I got the meat all right. I just don't feel it.
Arby's, we have the meat.
Did you get the meat mountains, sir?
I did not know. I did actually. I went to Arby's today, and I did not know they had chicken sliders now. Okay, I was like, which literally they're the size of a sausage biscuit. I'm like, it's $2 for this. It's like the size of a damn sausage biscuit.
Dude, we might as well just do the sponsor by Arby's. We have the meats.
Arby's, we have the meat.
If they can give a payday to Anthony Anderson and Cedric the Entertainer, why not us?
And Big
Matt
Ryan.
Wyatt, how are you?
Doing great. This has been a crazy journey for the last almost 2 years for Smalltalk, and we're close to the end, and this is the last time we pre-record for this episode before we get into the series finale, and that's going to be outrageous to see Ryan's reaction to the final episode for next week.
It's something crazy because it's like we are about to wrap up in the new Superman movie. As we end the series, the new Superman movie comes out in less than 2 months. And it's crazy to think that we've been doing this for 2 years, and it's so crazy. Like, we did this like a week after The Flash, I think, came out, or a couple weeks after.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah.
And I remember, we did this, and I never met Matt. Okay, the only I knew him from was The Flash. He had done the review for The Flash with you. And I just remember, I was like, okay. I mean, which me and Ryan were talking about doing the small talk. He's like, hey, Matt really likes Smallville as well. And I'm like, all right, yeah, come on, man. The more the merrier. And I was thinking, I said, let me guess, this guy going to be like, the show's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. You're an asshole. He was like, he wasn't. There are people out there I know who love the show is perfect. Even the later seasons, there's not one bad season. To which I'm like, you're smoking crack if you believe that, which does not believe that. Okay, Matt knows there are bad seasons, but every episode is but there are every moment and even thing, and I really appreciate. I think honestly, I was explaining somebody I think today, I was like, season 1 through 7, not every episode is perfect, not every season's perfect, but it is entertaining enough to where it wants you to come back every week because the idea is Lex versus Clark. And it builds up to that. And I think seasons 8 through 10 is Clark's journey to becoming Superman. And then, him facing off villains. I mean, yes, obviously the core basis of the show is Lex versus Clark.
Yeah, the core basis of the show, like you said, it's Lex and Clark, from them becoming closest friends to becoming enemies. And I will say, I think it Smallville is my top 3 all-time favorite show, but even I can acknowledge that it's not perfect. Not even the later seasons were not near as perfect as we wanted it to be.
I know someone right now I can tell you that loves the last 3 seasons and says they're
we're not going to name who.
And I'm just like, you're smoking crack if you believe that.
Brian even one day, he DM'd me on Twitter saying, hey, would you be interested doing a Smallville rewatch podcast? I was like, yeah. I said yes instantly. I was like, I'm in. Let's go.
I actually because of redoing the show, I actually spent like $60 on a Smallville action figure and it came with, thank God it came with a newspaper article. I guess they had the complete series that came out on DVD back in 2010 when the series came out. The complete series, and it came with
the DVD. The DVD version.
Yeah, it came out with a newspaper clipping on the back where it had and then Tom Welling on the front with the farm. And then you open it up and it has a giant booklet and it shows you all the episode guides.
You remember we talked into Ryan to get the Blu-ray complete series at the time.
Because I was watching the Hulu with the ads and
it's yeah, we're not going to do watch party with ads. There's no way.
It's crazy that we got here, by the way. And I was earlier telling these guys, I saw a Lex Luthor Funko Pop on Amazon for $68. I'm like, I am not crazy enough to buy a Funko Pop, especially you. It's just a bald guy with like a white tuxedo on. Nicholas Hoult. I can, and the power glove. I could literally just buy pay like $11 for the Nicholas Hoult one from the upcoming movie, and it's the same thing. The only difference is he's wearing a black jacket, but it's the same bald. It's just a bald guy with his eyebrows. I'm like, the only difference is you're paying for a suit color. You're paying basically $50 extra for a suit.
He kind of looks like the Mr. Clean from a tuxedo if he was wearing a tuxedo.
The FYE at my mall used to have a wall of Funko Pops. Like, if it collapsed, it could probably kill you. Like, it was, like, that big and deep. And, like, now, like, it doesn't even exist anymore. That FYE got rid of all their DVDs, all their Blu-rays, all their Funkos. It's just, like, they sell, like, the novelty food, like the gummy pizzas and, like, shirts. And that's it. Which, I mean, they got to stay in business. I get that, but it's just not the same. I like the Hot Topic next door has more like Funko Pops than them.
Hot Topic, yeah, I saw that. Like today, I saw it online. I was looking online. I saw a Revenge of the Sith hoodie that had like him and Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting. And it's like a red and white hoodie. It has a quote that says, "You were the chosen one," and then on the other side it said that you destroyed the Sith, not join them.
So they had the quote from Obi-Wan.
Yeah, on the sides, and I was like thinking about buying it because I'm like, it's like $60, but I'm like,
do it.
It's only like $50, but then I got a $30 discount, and I'm like, I can get it for $44. So I was gonna do it, but then I'm looking at like, oh my god, for $10 you can get the Nicholas Hoult Funko Pop from the new Superman movie for $10. All right, I was like, I wonder if I can use a 30% coupon on a $10 item. Probably not, unless they do shipping. I was like, probably not, because then it's
probably yeah.
But
it's crazy how we got here because we became close friends since then, and we have more reasons to continue to expand from other podcast shows that we want to do.
Ryan's my moderator on my channel. Literally, but basically, Matt, I would have gave Matt the access, but I know it would basically be like he would just be trolling the whole. He'd be trolling the whole time.
Wow. Not all the time. I don't trust Jake having that power because we already know how much power he would take control.
Oh, I would if I was on your channel, I would troll Matt. I would 100%. Ryan, I wouldn't have trolled. I would a little. Actually, I probably would. That's a lie.
If you try to troll me, if I was the one leading the watch party in the StreamYard, you would lose. You would lose.
I would just be like, "Who cares?
Who cares?"
But
we do have Kitchen Talk up on the channel, which I'm having a great time doing that. However, we do have our kind of sequel to this already planned out and mapped out. So we'll be announcing that very soon. But
it's not Lois and Clark talk, okay? So before people start asking, is it Lois and Clark talk? I know I had 3 people reach out and said, is it Lois and Clark talk? And I'm like, first off, Lois and Clark, okay? I like the show. I do. I like it. I am rewatching it currently, and I'm enjoying it. But like, I was like it's only 4 seasons, and the series gets canceled. It got canceled. It didn't end. There was no definitive ending for that show. There's no definitive ending. It just ends, And it's like, would you really want us to do a show where it just ends and there's no ending? I mean, like that's kind of
well. At least Superman and Lois had concluded that show for Superman and Lois that ran for 4 seasons.
Yeah. Which that's not speculative. That's not what we're not.
That's not where we're. That's not the show that we're going to cover. At least not yet. Like, at least not yet.
If you'd like a hint, it's not Superman related.
Yes.
No, it's DC related, but it's not Superman related.
You know what it is? We're doing Black Adam.
The hierarchy is about to change.
And it has been changed, but not in the way he wanted it to be.
Okay, so let me ask you guys, what do you think of these?
Dwayne, you ruined a WrestleMania with your Travis Scott, or your friend Travis Scott. Good for you, buddy. But,
so what did you guys think of these 2 episodes? I want to know before we get, what did you guys think?
I thought Dominion was great, and then Prophecy was just okay.
Prophecy, I'm like, why the fuck are we even here? Like, why?
Here's the thing. I did like the Prophecy. I just like the story B with Kara and Oliver. That was the best part about that episode. Story A with Lois and Clark, her discovering, her learning what it's like to be him. It was okay. I didn't hate it. I did not hate that episode.
Like when they hit the coolest part of the movie is when they had the Legion of Doom in the circle, and then
That's what I did not like. That's the one thing I did not like.
But
It didn't go anywhere.
They're never gonna do nothing with that, so that was just useless.
Like, was that meant to be like leaving the door open for the open possibilities if they continue to do Smallville, if they ever do an animated show as a revival, which they said they wanted to do for years, but WB said that they're not going to pick it up at some point.
As Jacob is
I think he's allergic to Prophecy episode.
Jacob is currently Italian. We'll give him a minute.
I'm choking on Matt's bullshit. Sorry, I'm choking on Matt's bullshit.
Let's get into the end is nigh, so let's get into it. This is season 10, episode 19, called Dominion.
I need to figure out who is releasing people from the Phantom Zone.
This is my world. It's kill or be killed. Kal-El would never embrace his dark side, but you can be saved. Kneel before Zod.
Only 3 episodes left until the 2-hour finale. Smallville. All new next Friday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
Matt, take it away.
All right, so this episode aired on April 29th, 2011, and this is directed by Justin Hartley, which I forgot that he directed this episode. So going into the synopsis, the title called Dominion. After learning that General Slade Wilson escaped the Phantom Zone, Clark enters the Kryptonian prison to learn who has opened the portal. Oliver follows against Clark's wishes, and the two are captured by General Zod's soldiers. Zod reveals that upon entering the Phantom Zone, he met Darkseid, who helped him become the ruler of the prison. In addition, Zod merged with the Phantom of the original Zod, which is you last seen him in season 6. Zod also reveals that Oliver has the Omega symbol. He then forces Oliver and Clark to fight to the death. When Zod attempts to kill Clark during the fight, the pair steal back the key to the portal and return to Earth while ensuring that Zod and his followers don't make use of the Phantom Zone's back door. Afterwards, Oliver sets out to find the Bowl of Orion with the hope that will help him defeat Darkseid.
This is essentially Smallville's take on the movie Gladiator, and I am here for all of it. And I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but in the Phantom Zone, there's shields from 300. Like, I
and the cameras from 300 too. Like they borrowed props from 300. It's like, oh my god! Like literally, the budget was that cheap that episode. They're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna take props from the WB department and make this episode. I mean, this is probably the cheapest episode they've made. They're like, you know what? We're just shooting on the Phantom Zone. It's just a sound stage, and then all of a sudden, we're just gonna put capes on. People got some 300 capes. We got a gladiator mask. Let's go.
Well, they gotta wear something. Hey, to make it so like ancient.
All this episode needed was Zod going, "Our arrows will block out the sun," and then Michael Fassbender like, "Then we will fight in the shade."
They will fight in the shade.
But this episode was really great. I really enjoyed it. Seeing Zod one last time was very nice. Callum Blue, I think, is kind of underrated as Zod. I thought he did a great job, and this is probably the most Zod feeling that he was probably ever going to get. Sadly, there was no season 11, so we will never know. But it wraps up this version of Zod in a nice little bow. I liked that.
Yeah, this is basically the conclusion of the Phantom Zone trilogy because this is the third time that Clark entered the Phantom Zone. This is like the conclusion of the trilogy if they did. And I thought, yeah, I agree with you. This is probably my second favorite episode of the season. This one really brought back of resolving the storyline with General Zod and also bringing back the old Zod that we last saw him in season 6 after they both merged together when he found his vessel, which I love that he's now remembering 2 lives and now he's more like dangerous and more ruthless than ever.
I like when
you're my enemy in both. Yeah, Colin Blue is definitely one of the most underrated portrayal of Zod that he really stuck true to it. And yeah, he's fucking incredible. I mean, it's good to see him back after we last saw him in season 9.
So when I was obsessed with Zod when I was back in like 2000, during the Smallville era, because I was so excited to see, and I was excited when they announced him as the villain for Man of Steel. And so I went back and I was watching the Justin Hartley, did a DVD commentary for this episode Dominion, and he said when he was directing, he told Colin Blue when he's sitting there watching, sitting on a throne, he says, just do like you're having an orgasm, like when you're watching the fight, like you're having a little itty bitty mini orgasms. He says that's why when you're doing thunder, you're smiling. He said, "You're just having little mini orgasms, like, because you're enjoying this so much." And I was like, "That is a director's." He says that's actually on there, and I'm just like, "Wow!" I was like, Helen Blue's like, "You want me to do what?" Like he goes, luckily he understood the direction because he didn't go like, "Oh." He's not just doing that the whole time. Because another actor, a different American actor, probably would have understood that as like, "Oh, you want me to do like Meg Ryan in Sleepless in Seattle?" And just go, "Yes, yes."
I'll have what she's having.
which I will say, I do like this episode a lot. I do like the fact that he goes in the Phantom Zone and you just see like Zod is like, "No."
And then
You know,
they force Clark to kneel. I thought that was a great touch, and he sounds like Terrence Stamp in Superman 2, which I don't know if that was a choice.
He has
or
the
if
goat.
that-
He has the goatee. He has the fucking Zod goatee from Terrence Stamp from Superman 1 and 2.
All he needed was the lady and the big dude, and then just
Well, they kind of did. They kind of did when they both got like
Kind.
zapped in that glass, that whole diamond glass Phantom Zone in space.
I hated that too because I liked it at first, but then I'm watching it going, it just looks like, why would you want to go back up there and do this? That way they can just have that montage where he's like, and they're like,
So now they have to make sure that they no longer escape, so they destroy the desolate wasteland. So now they're trapped in the glass and out for eternity in space. So that kind of feels like they wanted to leave the door open and try to do that whole Superman 2 style if Zod ever breaks out of the Phantom Zone.
kind of poetic. I think Clark has been in the Phantom Zone in this show. Kara's been in the Phantom Zone in this show, and like doing like the traditional glass version of it. But Zod
Even
never
Lois,
was.
even Lois had been in the Phantom Zone in season 8.
So I guess it was like paying off of that, I suppose.
No, I do dislike one thing. The episode, literally, why would Clark go to the Phantom Zone to do research about Slade Wilson escaping rather than just going to look for Slade Wilson?
He's in a coma. He can't get a word out of him. He's in a coma. Remember, Tess acknowledged it when they told him
Oh, well, I didn't know. I thought
Yeah.
he just walked out of the Phantom Zone and then just left.
No, he walked out of the Phantom Zone, but then he fell into a coma.
Which I'm not lying. I think this is better.
Speaking of Tess, her nonsense continues. I'm so glad. I'm not glad this show is almost over because I love this show with my whole heart. However, the Tess Mercer character just she's among my least favorite. Cassie Freeman does a great job. She does a great job here, but it's just it's the more is she, isn't she, is she, isn't she? That just it's never fully explained. Y'all remember she's a Luther? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Oh well, next episode they very much acknowledge she is a Luther in the next episode. Not this,
Well,
not
it-
the one.
Wait, she already is. They already did. They did acknowledge it like many episodes ago.
It's
But I'm
the
saying
lack
the
of
series finale,
consistency that just drives me nuts. I guess that's
It was already confirmed. Like she's the daughter of Lionel Luthor, so she clearly is a Luthor descendant.
I will say this will come full circle in the series finale. This will 100%.
Well, I don't want to say too much. We'll get into it when we get into the
No,
series finale. There's a lot of things I want to say about the finale, but I don't want to say anything.
yeah.
Which I'm excited.
Which here's the thing, I don't blame. Sorry if I'm cutting you off, Jake. I want to say one thing before I forget. But coming to the Tess's defense for destroying the crystal, doing the countdown to self-destruction, that was all Clark's idea. She was ordered by Clark himself, so she was just following his orders. So I wouldn't want to put the blame on Tess for making that decision.
Do you guys like the line about Zod where he talks about Cain and Abel?
Oh, I love that when he was talking about Cain and Abel, using that his own analogy.
Yeah. When he's referring to Cain and Abel, he's talking about, right?
Oh yeah, I know the reference. Believe me, if you've seen Lucifer, you get the reference.
But I'm saying, he's referring to who's Cain and who's Abel in the situation.
He's trying to refer to him as Cain, that he would actually kill his own brother in the middle of a fight, and he tells Zod, "No, I mean I wouldn't kill you. I saved you."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because he's really trying to convince them that we're Kryptonians. We have a killer instinct. We're meant to be leaders.
I do like that Zod has history with Darkseid.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know we talked about how the Phantom Zone here looks cheap, and it kind of does. but I kind of like the look of the skulls and the arena there.
Oh god, the
Like
skulls, dude.
it's kind of half a step away from becoming a Hellraiser movie. All it's missing is
It's
Pin
more of
Race.
the R-rated version of the Beyond the Thunderdome, which Oliver fucking referenced from that movie.
All it needs
Which
is
it's more
Pinhead and
edgier.
some chains, and then like you've got like the puzzle box right there.
I mean, yeah, sure, the sets were cheap, but at least the color grading and the color palette made it look more better than what it looked on set.
Yeah.
Especially when you see Zod with a bunch of fucking snake crawling him when he's sitting on the throne with his dark hood on. That was so dark.
What an
He was
image.
the fucking version of the Emperor. It was like,
What
good,
what
I've been
an image
expecting
right there.
you.
Yes, yes.
It's like, welcome, Luke. I'm a young Skywalker. You won't be needing those.
Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Which, you know what? That's whenever time I play Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, that's like his catchphrase in that game. Was like, "Have you ever heard this Darth
I've
Plagueis?"
heard. I did. I heard that dialogue.
I was like,
that was
"Oh my
pretty funny.
god!" Every time, I'm like, "That's character." That's the only thing he said.
Most of the dialogue was just dubbed from other movies from the Star Wars films that they just dubbed over.
I mean, it's not exactly like they could get some of them to like come back and re-record new dialogue. Sometimes they had to just make it work.
Yeah,
And it's cheaper. It's cheaper that way too.
yeah. Which I will say, I do like, in this episode when Clark defeats the gladiator, and then like Zod ends up killing the gladiator, saying, he says it's kill or be killed here, like, you know, and because he wanted Clark to kill him, and
Yeah, and that was a little bit of a callback to Gladiator when Maximus was about to kill his own opponent in the arena, and he refused to. He just dropped that axe. It's like, fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
that was a total like a callback to the Ridley Scott's Gladiator movie.
My name is Clark Jonathan Kent. Not quite a husband yet, not quite a father yet, and I will have my revenge in this life or the next.
I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
I will say I do like that Zod's trying to manipulate Oliver since Clark won't kill anybody. Then he'll get Oliver to kill Clark, and I think that's what he's trying to manipulate. And he knows that he's got the darkness in him. He's like, I can feel it.
He knows he's marked,
and so he's like, I can just manipulate you. And which I'm like, my thing is this. Okay, my biggest issue with this episode is, if he can free Slade Wilson, why don't he go himself? Why didn't he just drop himself? I'm like,
I think my guess is, and I could be wrong about this, but I think the reason why he's not breaking himself out of the prison with his Phantom Zoners is because that Zod and Darkseid have made an arrangement because Darkseid wants Clark. He knows he's their ultimate weapon, and he made a deal that he will rule the whole prison for his own way. Maybe that's just my guess, because he did cross paths, so they somehow made an arrangement. Because he knows that Darkseid's very powerful entity that will rule the entire planet because he conquers other planets.
But
and
why would
he?
why would he want to kill them though? Why would he want because he tries to kill him later in the episode?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get them to kill each other, or maybe he wants Clark to kill Oliver. But I don't know. It's a little bit of a plot hole that I will acknowledge. That it was a little off-putting for me the moment that Zod wanted to be the one to take him out himself.
No honor among thieves, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, to quote the Suicide Squad 2016.
Oh, there's a quote, and there's a quote from Uncharted 2. If you play the game, that they got that quote, honor among thieves.
I've never played that game.
Dude, you have to. You have to watch. You got to get the Nathan Drake collection for the PS4 remastered. Oh, yeah. It's fucking. You have to play those games. You will love that game, especially when you get to the second one and then the third, fourth peak Uncharted games.
I did enjoy the Tomb Raider games that they came out with, like Rise.
Which you want to know why they did the whole reboot thing, because they were totally influenced from the popularity from the Uncharted game to make it more modern Indiana Jones style. And make it more character driven. That's why they did that whole reboot because of that game.
I actually just finished playing the Indiana Jones game. It was really good.
Yeah, which if you love those types of games, you're gonna love Uncharted. Uncharted was basically the modern day version of Indiana Jones, except the first game was really good, but then when you get to the second game, it got better and better and better. My favorite of the series is definitely the second one. I love the second one a lot more. I mean, I love the third and fourth one. But that second one was just my personal favorite game of the franchise.
Talk about an all-time great video game opening. You're literally hanging from a train, and you have to
Yeah.
literally climb your way up.
Which literally, Tom Cruise literally got that train sequence from Uncharted 2. If you played that game, it was literally from that.
Like, Tom Cruise is a bit of a nerd, and he doesn't want to admit it.
He is. He's a nerd. He watches movies for pleasure.
Yeah.
He also goes on YouTube a lot. I've noticed that. Like he talked, like I saw like one girl with popcorn in bed. Like they were invited to the Mission Impossible because Tom's like, "Oh, I just randomly stumbled upon your video." I'm like, "No, you're actually going on YouTube watching videos of people reacting to your movies. You just don't want to admit that because you don't want to seem like a prima donna."
When you're worth what Tom Cruise is worth, you can afford to burn a little time every now and again.
He's literally like a stunt performer. I mean, literally. He's literally like a daredevil, you know?
He's the American version of Jackie Chan in our modern day time.
Yep.
Or Evel Knievel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever see Tom Cruise announced to play an Evel Knievel in an Evel Knievel movie, I would say that makes 100% sense.
It fits.
It
Christopher
does.
McQuarrie is directing an Evel Knievel movie starring Tom Cruise. I'm like, well, we know he's going to be driving that motorcycle off into a ring of fire.
Oh, he will. He will definitely do it. He even talked about doing. They even talked about making a movie from outer space that he's actually going in the fucking space.
I mean, Elon just left Doge, so I'm saying his calendar's a bit more open. So, like, call SpaceX, get him up there.
I will say the thing I also like about this episode is I like Oliver and Clark are facing each other off at the end and everything. And you actually think when he stabs Clark, you're like, oh wow, like and everything. And I love that. I love that so much. You're like, oh, is Oliver actually going to kill Clark? And then when he grabs like Zod's necklace, which Zod, I think is stupid, as though Zod's like, wait, I want to do it myself. And I'm just thinking, he's going to do your job for you. You literally, it's like
it reminded me so much of John Wick Chapter 4 when Donnie Yen like shoots John, and then Bill Skarsgård's character, the Marquis, is like, I'm subbing in. He grabs the gun, and then Ian McShane's like, you idiot. Wick hasn't fired yet. And then Wick is like, consequences. Bang! And just, it reminded me so much of that.
It almost reminded me of the end of the Gladiator when he's facing off with Joaquin Phoenix's character and he's stabbed and he's brutally wounded and he's bleeding out, but still kicked the living shit out of him by the end. I thought literally Clark was about to bleed out and go to the afterlife. Oh, go back to his dad. Oh, plays the Hans Zimmer music.
Sunflowers. He's gonna be touching the grass, the sunflowers. And like
he'll be meeting up with his father in the afterlife.
You could tell the blockbuster all this week was in fact Gladiator
300, Gladiator, Beyond Thunderdome,
and My Super Ex-Girlfriend.
The effects that what they did on this episode, this came out at the same time when Spartacus was on TV on Stars, and they were going into the prequel series called Gods of the Arena. So it kind of adds a little influence from that show, because Stephen Eston Knight was on Smallville for a while too. When he was on like season 4, then he was on all the way up to season 6 or 7, I believe.
I think he left around season 7 when he left when Miller and Goff left.
Yeah. You're right. That's true.
Coming soon to the channel, Spartacus Talk.
Dude, that's my second all-time. That's my top 3 all-time favorite shows.
Talking Sparta.
Oh, that's a good one.
Talking Sparta. There you go.
We'll workshop it. But one more thing I wanted to bring up before I forget is the whole thing, the interstellar time balance thing, where it's like, oh, we were gone hours. No, you were gone 3 weeks. And like, there's a really nice scene between Clark and Lois just it has some of my favorite Erica Durant's moments in this whole like section here. I loved this whole scene so very much indeed. Like him wearing his shirt and saying like, I want to be a part of like we're two halves of a whole. Just season 10 needed more of that. More of that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And are we going to talk about when Lois was about to shoot Tess? If she doesn't like take down the countdown for self-destruction, she was like, is she really going to do it? Is she really going to kill Tess if she just says no?
No, but it would have been.
She almost went to that dark side moment. Like, come on.
All is missing was Emperor Palpatine going, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. So, do
Add
it.
that.
Do it.
Add
bad.
the
You're so
fucking
bad.
clip.
Do it.
Good, Anakin. Good.
Do it.
I
Kill
can
it.
feel your anger.
I can feel it. I feel it. That's literally what happens whenever
That's literally no. That's what he happened. It was like he was having an orgasm for a moment.
And then Anakin, it doesn't help that Anakin's on his knees doing this back and forth. And Anakin,
Good.
I'm with you. I'm like, okay, can we redo that?
with you.
It's right up
If
there
I'm
with.
George
It's right up there with Green Goblin from the first Spider-Man going, sleep.
Speak of the devil.
You know, some people say that scene when they're on the rooftop talking in Spider-Man looks like two action figures talking because
It did look like action figures talking.
and you can't see their mouth.
Since you brought it up, it makes sense.
like listen, I like, you know what? That's why in Iron Man he shows you Robert Downey Jr.'s face, because you can't. If he's just talking with his mask on, you're probably not going to take that too seriously.
But also, like with Tom Holland Spider-Man, they have the facial expression so that you can that you know when he's talking. It's just not just doing no facial expression, talking like this. You're a murderer.
And you're just like, is he angry or is he like, you know? Which, to be fair, I mean, it also, you know what, that stunt doubles, you know, it makes it easier for your stunt double because it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to go over here where my stunt double's going to do all the
Well,
work.
Willem Dafoe did most of his own stunts, even with the mask on.
Well, I know Tobey Maguire, there was a stunt double that would do all that.
No, Tobey Maguire had a stunt double, of course, but Willem Dafoe, he mostly did some of his own stunts.
I mean, the dude's method, the dude literally...
Even No Way Home. Even in No Way Home, when we see him fighting Tom Holland, that was mostly all Willem Dafoe doing the fight, the hand-to-hand combat.
I mean, the dude's so method, he hung dong in the lighthouse.
Yeah.
No, like, I never thought I do not want to see the Green Goblin's penis in the lighthouse, but of course, you know, I'm like, that's something.
It's a commitment. We're aiming for the Oscar win. It's for the Oscars. Let's go. If I were to show my schlong in front of the whole audience, so be it.
Why didn't you eat your beans? But let's go to scores. Collins 1 to 10.
I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 episode. Yeah.
Okay, Matt.
8.5. I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I love it.
I'm gonna match with Matt and go 8.5. A little bit extra for the scene with Clark and Lois at the end. I thought that was just phenomenal stuff. And well, I guess we're now on to, if you want to get super technical about it, the penultimate episode of the entire series. It is season 10, episode 20, called Prophecy.
Jor-El, I'm here to declare my desire to start a life bond with this woman.
We sort of fall like a stone to meet our fate.
Kill the blur.
We have bigger plans for you.
Smallville. All new episode next Friday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
Yeah. So this episode aired on May 6th, 2011. Yeah, and it's directed by Mike Rawl. And the synopsis is, Jor-El gives Lois all of Clark's powers, leaving him powerless so that the two can see what it's like to live in each other's shoes for one day. After defeating a brainwashed Stargirl, Clark and the team discover that the imprisoned Toyman is leading a group of supervillains in the Marionette Ventures organization that include Vortigern, which is the Dark Archer that we last saw him in season 9, Black Manta, which is Aquaman's arch nemesis in the comic books, Metallo, Captain Cold, Solomon Grundy, and Roulette. Lois receives an implant that allows Toyman to control her, and he sends her to kill the Blur. Clark is able to regain his powers in time to stop Lois. Meanwhile, Oliver and Kara team up and locate Orion's bow. Afterwards, Jor-El sends Kara to the future to forge her own destiny, as Clark is ready to accept his on Earth. Granny Goodness steals the bow from Oliver and destroys it, then sends him after gold kryptonite. Lois calls off the wedding so Clark can focus on saving people.
So this episode is something that was hard to watch, because this episode I watched this at my grandmother's house, and I watched because, you know, at the time when this Smallville was there and I didn't have cable, And so this aired 6 days after my grandfather passed away. Okay.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
So like, and so I remember just like sitting here, and I was in tears because I sat here. My grandfather, was in bad health, and I just remember sitting here watching Smallville was the only thing keeping me from like not crying because, and I just remember that's why it's always hard to watch because it's like 6 days after my grandfather was gone, and I'm just sitting here in his house watching Smallville. What I've done last week, in the week before he was alive. So it just like that's like something was like that. That's what is just crazy about it. It's like, man, it's like this episode. I remember. That's why I was just like, it's like this is like the one episode that always gets me, and not because I don't like the episode. I'm just saying, just because of like the things that happened in my life personally. That's why it's like it's always a tough watch because it's like I think about. There's two things I think about when I watch. I'm like, this is literally it's about saying goodbye while I'm also saying goodbye to my grandfather. So like that's why I was thinking about this episode. But didn't mean to bring the room down or nothing. I was just like,
no, that's I kind of unrelated, but I remember seeing that Darren Aronofsky movie Mother, where Jennifer Lawrence reenacts the Book of Genesis. That's literally what the movie is, folks. And I got out of it, and I got a call from my dad telling me that my mom's dad, my maternal grandfather, had passed away. So I'll probably never watch that movie again, but I'll always remember where I was, like walking out of the theater and like getting that call. That was just crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? I think we need to say, we need to stay away from these, okay? So I'm always never watch Mother. There's a lot of reasons to not watch Mother again. That's one of them.
Many reasons.
The only thing I watched about Mother was the Honest trailers. That was the only time I watched that movie was the Honest trailers.
It's like a weird ass improv class. Sometimes it's like a weird ass improv class because everybody has a name: him, them, hey, her, she, mother. There's no one's name is like Thomas. It's all just like randomly. It's like Darren Aronofsky was just like too lazy to give names, so they're just like it's like Christopher Nolan and Tenet was like he's called the protagonist, and I'm just like. Get off your fucking high horse, dude. Like, just name
Darren Aronofsky is what happens when you don't have a good time at vacation Bible school.
Darren Aronofsky went to Bible school and was like, he left and said, yeah, I didn't like it. That's where he went. I went to camp once in 2014, and I'm like, I didn't like it either. I had a good time during the day, but at night I hated it. Because there's one kid who had like seizures real bad, and it was just like a kid to make a lot of noise at night. So I was like, that it was not like, it wasn't like in the movie Tower Heist. It was just literally like where the kid was like, it was just like literally the kid, I guess, one of the kids had something wrong with him. So like, and he apparently had severe seizures. And so he wanted his like goal was to come to summer camp, try it once in his life. And his parents were like staying down at the Best Western down the street. So
that's serious. Wow.
And so basically was like, and so the kid was like, so they had a week, he had to keep the light on for him. And it's like, my bed was right by the light. Like he was literally, I could throw a rock and hit him if I wanted to. That's how close he was. And he would go, ah! And I was like, fuck. And I'm just like, I was like, that scared the shit out of me a couple times because he was going, ah! And I was like, what the fuck? That would scare the shit out of me at night. Just like I am never coming back to summer.
You should send that story into Youth Group Chronicles. I need Isaiah Smallwood to react to that.
But also with 2011, this was around the time a month before my high school graduation at that year.
Oh wow.
And by the end of 2011, that was around the time when my aunt passed away. By sometime by the end of the year of 2011.
Sounds like death.
Oh, wow.
It sounds like really death came for everyone in 2011.
I know it's fucked up, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan, who died in 2011 on your side?
Thankfully, nobody. But
you're the lucky one at that year.
But okay, so this episode, by the way, is shit.
Yeah, it's not good. Like Collins pointed out to me in the
not only did it kill my grandfather this episode, but it also killed my enthusiasm for the series finale.
Yeah, and like Collins pointed out in the private chat, like I attributed to him, I'm like, hope you enjoyed the Legion of Doom. This is the only time they're ever referenced, which is just shit.
I do agree that the whole Legion of Doom cameo thing was kind of pointless. Like, I didn't like that. That was like, why do we do that if you're never going to touch on it ever again? Unless you're going to do a revival show, then that's different. But until then, like, what the fuck? But the only storyline that I enjoy about this episode was the storyline with Oliver and Kara retrieving the Bowl of Orion. Which, fun fact, in case you don't know who Orion is, he is the son of Darkseid, and it's definitely from the comic books.
Like, you're telling me you're going to introduce Solomon Grundy in big 2011 or 2012 when season 11 would have hypothetically been made? I'm like, we would get more, like, people would learn more about Solomon Grundy from the Accountant movies.
You got Captain Cold, and you got Captain Cold that was part of Flash's Rogues Gallery, and then we got Black Manta, which is supposed to be Aquaman's arch nemesis from the comics.
I will say Captain Cold was pretty comic accurate. I will say,
yeah,
even the Flash didn't do him as comic accurate as that.
He was close, but maybe not the costume. Maybe not the costume version of Captain Cold.
I will say I do like that Toyman came back though. I thought
what really pissed me off is Metallo. Well, like John Corbin, didn't he redeemed himself from the last season, and now he's suddenly say fuck that? Like, or did he take control over? Or did he control him? Maybe he could have controlled him from the chip.
It's like they were trying to bring somebody. They were trying to bring bad guys back. So they were just trying to do something.
It's like, yeah, we're just gonna bring in the Legion of Doom. Even Roulette, the character that we from season 9, that she was the one that was able to help Oliver redeem himself after he went down the rabbit hole. Would perform this whole act that Chloe arranged.
I would have not been shocked if Brainiac.
First of all, Solomon Grundy looks nothing accurate to that. That was just like a dude putting fucking makeup on with a fucking bad wig. If you see him close enough in the round table.
Which you want to hear something funny? You want to hear something funny, Ryan? Would you have been really mad if Lionel would have came up and he would have been wearing like a Lex Luthor outfit from the comics, from the cartoon? It was just that Lionel comes up wearing like his hair in a ponytail, and he's just wearing a pink jacket, like a leather jacket, and he goes, "Now we shall begin." And then just cuts. Would you have been mad if it was just?
I mean, I don't buy that Toyman would be the one leading it. That just seems a little bit of a far reach. I mean, Lionel would probably make more sense, or Lex Luthor. But Toyman, really?
But would you have been mad if Lionel would have just came and come out like of the shadows and sit in this like the end of the table, and he's like, "Now, let's begin."
Yeah, that would have been like that would have blown up everything that we had ever known. I'm like, sir, like, what are we even doing here?
I would have said at first, I'm not gonna lie, if I would have saw that in 2011, I would have been like, "That's so cool that Lionel Luthor is in charge of Lima." Then I would have been pissed that it goes nowhere in the next episode. Like,
exactly.
Because it's like, I thought literally for the 2-hour series finale, okay, so the first half's going to deal with the Legion of Doom, and the second half's going to deal with Darkseid. No, that's not what happens. I'm like, you would think that. I'm like, well, then why the hell did you introduce them if they're nobodies? I'm just like,
that was completely pointless. Why do you need to add that shit in this one? Like, really?
I guess
do we really need this? For future, if they ever try to revive Smallville ever at some point.
I'm just like, that made me mad because it's like,
I was mad about that too. I was like, what the hell was the point of this?
You tease something you can never pay off.
Oh yeah, Kara's on the file, and except that Kara's now going into the 31st century with the Legion of Superheroes. So yeah, you're not going to be able to go up against her anytime soon. She fucking dipped out.
She's off to the 24th and 1/2 century with Duck Dodgers and like Sergeant Emily Bronte. Like, what are we even doing here, people?
I will say,
excuse me.
I really thought that pissed me off. Besides the fact that they just recopied the same episode from season 3 is it season 2 or 3? Wherever, like, remember the one where everybody gets the email and they have to kill Lana Lang?
Oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah, it definitely. Yeah, it was season 3. That was season 3.
Now it's like, okay, now and ironically, the same actor that plays the Toyman's in that episode as well.
Yeah, that's ironic. Actor that plays Toyman, who plays the fucking computer geek dude, tech guy from tech support.
And he's like, they're just like, kill, and then it's like all of a sudden Lois, and then like hot Stargirl's like, is like, and like Lois just throws her through the wall.
I'm surprised she's not dead.
or like Lois, she's in a wheelchair, and like,
or yeah, she's in a wheelchair, crippled. I would start laughing if that actually happened. But I will say that there was one moment that I did like, is that Lois's hearing all of the fucking dangers that is going on, and she has to pick and choose who she saves and prioritize who needs to be saved sooner, which it gives a lesson what Clark had to learn over the years, which I like that moment.
I really liked when Kira, because Kira realized she taught her the conversation with Jor-El, where he said, he says, the dark side will take over Clark if you literally stand in his way. You have to let Clark defeat Darkseid on his own. You cannot help him.
Yeah,
and
because that's why. But that's why that he had to shut Clark down, because he had darkness in him in the beginning, and he was not ready to overcome it. He needed more time.
And I like that she goes goodbye, Kal-El, and like she put that ring on, and I thought that was so poetic. It was her goodbye, final goodbye, and I'm just like, oh man. At least Kira, she's off in the 31st century. I'm like, I thought that was poetic. I really enjoyed that, because I'm like, because at first I didn't think, when I rewatched, I'm like, oh, we never get a conclusion with Kira, and I'm like,
but that felt better. That made more sense instead of just fly off into space and try to find Kandor, which it was a wild goose chase.
Mm-hmm. I will say one thing I dislike in this episode, and this is another dislike. Why it's so ironic, it's so crazy that we have a character that shoots bow and arrows is looking for a bow and arrow. I mean, it's not like, imagine if Batman had been there, okay? Thank God the Green Arrow was there. A person known to shoot bow and arrows is looking for a bow and arrow. Can you imagine if Clark would have been there? It would have just been, whoa. It's like, I mean, that's such a cop-out, really. You have the Green Arrow looking for a bow and arrow. I'm like, really, writers? You couldn't find a sword or anything. It's like, oh, it just happens.
The bow of Orion that has the pure goodness that can kill Darkseid.
It just so happens the guy who shoots bow and arrows is happening to looking for a bow and arrow. Oh my god!
But also, they were sending out booby traps, which that kept Kara in that place for some time now. And luckily, that he was able to show up and break her out.
I do like that Granny Goodness is waiting for him, and so she's like, "You're not getting this,
sucker." You just led them. You literally. He essentially literally led them to the bow of Orion and to destroy it.
Yeah, and then she says, "You will never remember any of this either." And then she just does his head.
Yeah, because now he's marked, and now they can take control over him. The Omega symbol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and then they just fully possess Oliver. Like now he is 100%.
Oh yeah, now you see him and you see him digging up dirt with gold kryptonite, which he was taking under control of Darkseid.
This was in the last episode, but I wanted to bring up at the bitter end before the credits where Oliver's praying in the church and you see the statue crying blood. I'm like, wow,
that's symbolism.
Like, behold, symbolism. But at the same time, I'm just like, wow, at least they gave us that. Like, that was stunning stuff there.
That score was very dark and ominous, and I loved how it fit so well in that end of the episode. So good.
Which I will say, there's a funny moment that actually I put in my positives because I thought it was so funny. Is whenever like Lois is like, she comes back, she has a bullet on her. She got a bullet shot, and she goes, "When did you get shot?" And he goes, "Oh, when the thing was getting stopped." And he goes, "The bagel thing was getting." It turns out the bagel thing was getting robbed. No, in Wisconsin. He goes, "There was a robbery in Wisconsin, and I got shot. That's cool, everything." You went to Wisconsin? Yeah, but then I stopped by there, and
you have Kelso saying, "What? Hello, Wisconsin." From
like,
that 70s show.
I'm just like, wow. I was just like, he's like, you went.
She stopped from a knife fight to a gunfight at a store.
Like, it's so funny when he says, "You went to," he said, I love laughs. So hard. The bagel shop got robbed behind us.
The bagel shop got robbed.
Like,
how did he miss that?
Like, what? Like, no, Wisconsin. You went to Wisconsin.
Like what?
What?
Well, he couldn't have known because he has no powers. So it's a switcheroo thing.
I just thought that made my like
that was very funny. That was hilarious.
Like, you went to Wisconsin, like, which I mean, I don't like the fact that that all like this like the whole Lois gets powers now, because I'm like, that's so dumb. It's been done a million times. Remember when Lana got powers? Lana got powers in season 7. And then, of course, I'm like, it feels like they're just copy pasting stuff. They're like, well,
I understand that, but to the defense, like Jor-El was just given the trial to know what it's like to be Clark in one day, to understand, are you willing to take on that responsibility? Because you're about to be part of his life, like forever. Like you're about to like tie the knot because he's not only is going to be a husband, but he's also going to be a superhero protecting the world, and how much of responsibility that he has to take on.
Who is now possessed fully by Darkseid.
Yeah, you saw that dark. You see that dark eyes on Oliver when he was digging up that gold kryptonite because they wanted to. That was their only greatest weapon to take away his powers permanently.
Yeah, now he's a loyal servant to Darkseid.
Yep. How is he going to overcome it? We'll find out. Like, how is he going to overcome that darkness in him?
Yeah, now Oliver no longer has control over his body. Like, this is Darkseid in the pilot suit. Oliver.
Nope.
Now, like if you see him, he's just pretending to be Oliver. Like it's not Oliver at all.
Yeah, now Darkseid has now full control over Oliver.
Which I think that's cool,
Yeah.
Well, let's go to scores. Collins, 1 to 10.
I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, same here. It's definitely a 6 out of 10. It's an okay episode. Has its upsides, but has a little bit more downsides for the storyline A.
We are in agreement. We are simpatico. I'm going 6 as well.
I legit thought you were going to say 4. I thought
No, it's not Masquerade. Let's not go quite that far. But no, I'm giving 6. This was just okay. But well, all that's left now is the finale. And if you are watching this on, let me find the date. If you're watching this on Tuesday, June 3rd, then stay tuned June 3rd at 8 East. We will be watching the finale watch-along style.
To quote Darkseid from Zach's Justly, save the date.
And we will be wearing our blue shirts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Matt better do
it. Maybe.
You better.
But I pass it off to all of you. What did you think of these episodes? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to read what you have to say. And it is a privilege to do this show every week with these guys, and it's been a privilege for the past coming up on 2.5 years. I'm pretty sure we did the first one in August, so I'm going to do the math later and get back to you on that. But close to 2.5 years, let's just round it up with that. But Collins, where can the people find you?
They can find me at 3dmoviecinema.com or the Phantom Zone, and so they
or the bathroom.
3dmoviecinema.com. Or the bathroom.
Which
they
he's in right now.
Yeah, I'm in the bathroom, see? You don't see the bathtub behind me?
That will be the quickest way to go to the bathroom and multitask and be on here at the same time.
Well, no, I'm not a barbarian. I'm not going to sit on a toilet and do this.
Well, I thought this episode was pretty good.
Like that William Dafoe in The Lighthouse where he goes, wow.
Thank God I have 2-ply.
But yeah, I mean, we're tomorrow. By the time I say we have done the Final Destination review and Final Destination, watch party for part 4, and 3D movie cinema, and by the time this airs, my review for Bloodline will have dropped. So yeah.
All right, Matt Wyatt, what about you?
You can find me at Matt Wyatt 92. I did a non-spoiler review for Final Destination Bloodlines and Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I will be seeing Karate Kid Legends this weekend, even though it had some mixed reviews, but I'm still going to go see it because I love the Karate Kid movies, and I wanted to give you my thoughts on it. But by the time this airs, you will be seeing my non-spoiler review for it.
Yep, all their links will be in the description. Give them a subscribe there. They were on the channel recently to do Mission Impossible Fallout with me, and I'll be concluding that series by talking about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning with Matt, and I'll be doing my review of Final Reckoning, and then be doing a bit of a ranking video, so stay tuned for all of that. I got some special plans coming up for June, so stay tuned for that, but we've got our sequel series to this all mapped out. We've got Kitchen Talk. So this is not the end of the Small Talk crew. We're just, if anything, we're expanding. So stay tuned for all of that. But for Jacob Collins, for Matt Wyatt, my name is Ryan Cam. For Truth, for Justice, for the American Way, always hold on to Smallville. And
Sharpton for president, y'all. I'm out.